Hello everybody, and welcome to 21st Century Woodworking. With me, your host, Dirk the Engineer. Hello again everybody, Dirk the Engineer here. Again, this afternoon on President's Day, so I've got a day off from work, and I just figured I'd mess around in the shop, so I would try and do a demonstration of the straight line cutting capabilities. So I've got this kind of queued up. I've set my origin at a grid position of Y, a grid Y position of 9 and an X of 0, and I'm on the positive side. So that's where I'm referencing my part. And essentially what I want to do is make a rip of the part along the y-axis at 4 inches. So it's the same part that I had yesterday. It's 45 inches long, and so I've set that up so that it will traverse from x0 to x45 along a 4.05, which is basically a 16th. I want to have a little bit of room on that part so that I can do some flush trimming when I get it onto the table. So since I'm starting there, I want to be on the left side of the vector, and I do want to cut in the forward direction. That will give me a climb cut. Again, material properties, it's 45 inches long, about 4 inches wide now because I ripped it down on my bandsaw. Then it's actually 4 1/4 inches wide, but right now. So anyway, so it's still 3/4 of an inch thick, using the same tool as before. The safe Z height is still the same, over travel of 1. In this case, I want to be right on the table, so my Z-axis offset is 0. I'm using the horizontal nibble feature, and I'm going out to a value of 0.2, and then cutting back to a value of 1/16 past this, and then I have the final passes right on the vector line there. So again, spindle speed is a little lower when I take my bigger cuts, and then when I want to do a fine finish, slow the feed rate down and speed the spindle up again, and that's pretty well ready to go. So I've got the setup G-code loaded up in here, and I wanted to show you this is going to go to the very start of the final pass, so I can show you that moving here in just a second. Okay, here's the setup at the start of the final pass, or just running the setup. I've got the powers off on my spindle so I can touch this without a problem. This is the board that I want to cut. That pin that I referenced is this pin. This is 0.9 on my in that grid coordinate system. You can see I've got one pin set here so that the board is referenced against that pin, and I've got another one farther down the board so that it's in a straight line with this. This is what I jointed on in the previous video, and you can see I've got it set up so that it's on the positive side on the X and the positive side on the Y, so that's in the right position, so that's good. And then this should be at about 4 1/16 away from this side, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's the 4 mark right there, and there's the 4 1/16. So it actually is in the right spot, because I can just reference that blade, and the thing is just barely touching the surface over here. So it's all set to go, and so now I'll go ahead and show you making the cuts. It should, when it does the cut passes, it should move over to 0.2 inches, make a pass, and then make another pass at basically 4 1/8, and then the final passes should be right here, which is 4 1/16. So let's just go ahead and see if it does that. see that it did leave just a very thin piece of wood here, and that just will break right off, and you can take a little bit of sandpaper. The edge is nice and buttery smooth. Okay, so that's on. See if I can do this one-handed. Okay, so where are we at? Okay, so we're at 4.03, so this was off by about 20 thousandths, which is okay. That's fine. 20 thousandths is pretty good in the woodworking realm, so if you want to leave yourself a little bit of extra, that's fine. You can learn how to set this stuff up and adjust your positions a little bit to get it on there. So it's pretty good along the length there. So it's actually doing the right thing. So good. I'm happy. This has been the longest running cut that I've ever had to make. This piece I had to remake because, as you mentioned, I don't know if you've seen one of my other videos, but I had accidentally, before I made this program, I had accidentally set up my jointer to run the wrong way. And when you take that kind of heavy pass, like I did with an 1/8 of an inch pass, full 3/4, and you don't do climb cutting, it splits out the wood. But I was moving along, and the bit was cutting this way, and it caught, and it ripped that and split that. Look, it's a good 1.5 foot split down this hard maple. This is really unforgiving material to work with. I don't particularly care for that too much, but anyway, yeah, so it's really important that you are cognizant of whether you're climb or conventional cutting when you're doing this kind of stuff, especially with these harder woods, especially maple. It does not forgive very much. So anyway, it took me about 3 weeks, a couple weeks of programming and testing and stuff like that to get to the point where I was making this cut. So as I said, the longest running cut that I've ever had to make. Very simple, but from now on it'll be very easy to do on my CNC router to produce pretty good cuts from now on. So alright, I will talk to you guys later.